everyone. Welcome to a new episode of The Workspace, a space where we will be talking about business and culture, interviewing people with different backgrounds with a lot of experience to share and for us to learn. My name is Alejandra, and today I will be talking about procrastination. But before we continue, I would like to invite you to follow or subscribe to the Workspace podcast. It would mean a lot to me to have your support. Thank you. How often do you find yourself putting off work and struggling to stay productive? Having blockage. Every single one of us goes through this. You're not alone. Procrastination is a common problem that many of us face, and it can be difficult to break out of the cycle. But there are a couple of things that you can do to make the change. So, what is procrastination, for example? Procrastination is the act of delaying or putting off tasks until the last minute, often resulting in increased stress and anxiety, and it can be difficult to overcome, especially when it becomes habits. When you go through and through, and it's a cycle, basically. One way to battle procrastination is to embrace proactivity. This means that taking the initiative and being proactive in your working habits. Rather than waiting for tasks to pile up, just stay ahead of the game, prioritizing your to do list and setting up honest goals for yourself. And this is one of the biggest tips, setting honest goals for yourself. There are several ways to achieve these goals and break with the procrastination cycle and becoming more proactive. For instance, breaking larger tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks can help you make the work seem less overwhelming and easier to approach. Additionally, getting rid of distractions, such as turning off your phone or closing unnecessary tabs on your computer, can help you focus and stay on task. However, even with the best intentions, getting starting on a task can be daunting. So, you need to set up honest goals for yourself and go step by step. Now, speaking about goals, first of all, you need to define your goal. When it comes to tackling a task, it's essential to start with a clear objective in your mind. By defining your goal, you'll know exactly what you're working towards, and this can help you stay focused and motivated throughout the project. But if you're tired of putting off work and want to get things done, this is the first tip that you need to try. Define your goal and ask yourself what you are trying to achieve with the task in your hands. Do you want to finish a report by the end of the day? Do you want to create a presentation that will bring you more clients, or simply impress the brand, or simply impress your boss? Whatever goal is, make sure it's specific, it's measurable, and it's realistic. In other words, it's like a vague statement of, I can do better or get things done. But instead of thinking like this, I'm going to finish writing these 500 words by noon, or complete 5 sections of the report today, or create 2 landing pages by tomorrow. Once you have defined your goal, write it down and keep it in plain sight. Whether it's a sticky note on your desk or a reminder on your phone, having a visual cue can serve as a helpful reminder of what you're working towards. Actually, defining your goal is one of the most effective work tips to combat procrastination. It can give you direction, motivation, and the final sense of accomplishment once you achieve it. So take a few minutes to think about your objectives before you dive into your work, and you'll really be surprised at how much productive you can be. Before I spoke about breaking your tasks into smaller chunks. Imagine that you're starting down a large project or a task. In what point I'm going to start this project? That's where breaking the tasks into smaller chunks can be incredibly helpful. In my case, I prefer to call them milestones. First, identify the individual components of the task. For example, if you're working on a report, break it down into sections, writing, editing, or formatting. Then, tackle each section separately, working on one at a time until it's complete. It's easy. The task will feel more manageable while also giving you the sense of progress as you can check each section of the list. Breaking tasks into smaller chunks is especially useful when you're struggling with motivation. Rather than feeling that you have to tackle the entire task in one sitting, you can set up smaller goals or milestones It is important to ensure that each smaller chunk is still meaningful and contributes to the overall goal. If the chunks are too small, you may end up wasting time and losing focus on the big picture. Aim for a balance of small, achievable steps that still move you closer to the finish line. In addition to breaking tasks into smaller chunks, it's always helpful to schedule out specific times to work on each piece. This will help you to stay on track and to avoid getting distracted by other tasks or responsibilities. Talking about distractions. So, we need to get rid of distractions. Distractions can be the bane of our existence when it comes to getting the work done. Whether it's the temptation to check our phones every 5 minutes, to pull on social media, or just even get cluttered workspace, distractions can seriously derail out productivity. If you struggle to stay focused on your work, it's time to get rid of those distractions. For example, start by identifying what distracts you most. Is it the phone buzzing with notifications? Do you find yourself scrolling through Instagram instead of working? Maybe you're surrounded by clutter that makes it hard to focus. Once you know what your biggest distractions are, you can take steps to eliminate them. One effective way that I actually do to eliminate distractions is to turn off my phone, put them on silent. I just don't need it. I need to keep focus, leaving the phone in another room or in a drawer. If a social media is a problem for you, try installing a website blocker for your computer to limit your access. Or just sign off from all of your social media. Depending on your phone or computer, setting a focus time or professional timer, this will limit notifications or call from outside, making your focus on work. If you're working in a cluttered or disorganized space, take some time to tidy it up before you get started. Having a clear workspace can help you stay focused and feel more motivated to tackle your work. Finally, consider using tools or apps that can help you stay on track and eliminate distractions. There are plenty of apps designed to help you stay focused or avoid time wasting websites or apps like Freedom or Cold Turkey. Have you heard of it? If you struggle to keep your workspace tidy and you need help with organizing a task, you have apps like Trello or my favorite, which is Asana. And that way you can stay on track and organize it on each task. You can even create a task and then create the little chunks of that task. Remember, getting rid of distraction isn't about depriving yourself or punishing yourself for not being able to stay focused. It's just about creating an environment that supports your productivity and helps you achieve your goals. By eliminating distractions and creating focused work environments, you'll be well on your way by busting your procrastination habits and getting more done. This is our goal. Now, the hardest part about procrastination is just actually to start, giving that first step. Giving that first step without motivation can actually be really hard. And the weight of the work can be daunting, especially if you're putting it off for a while, if you created that cycle. But as I normally do, just I take a deep breath, gather all of the resources, rant a little bit, and then start. You can start small if you want to. Pick up the easiest part of the task and tackle that first. This will get your momentum going and you will start to feel motivated to continue working. Once you give that first step, it will be easier to keep going and to continue. Another way to approach the task is to give yourself a time limit. Start the timer for 10 minutes and work as hard as you can go until the alarm goes off. You'll be surprised in how much you can accomplish in that short amount of time, and this will give you the confidence to keep going. But don't forgive yourself to give breaks too. If you're feeling stuck, take a walk, do a quick workout, have a coffee, stretch yourself. You'll return to your work feeling refreshed and energized. Sometimes we really need to take a break. It's important to remember that procrastination is a habit. And like all habits, it can be broken. The more you practice being proactive, the easier it will become. And this is it, guys. This was our episode for today. The episode for procrastination, that little devil that lives inside of every single mind, everywhere worldwide. And on our next episode, I do have an interview with the wonderful nurse Jessica Seitz, a healthcare turned social media sensation sharing tips for healthcare workers through comedy. It will be a fun talk. It was a fun talk, and you're going to love her. But before we end this episode, if you haven't done so, I would like to invite you to follow or subscribe to the Workspace podcast. This would mean a lot to me to have your support. Thank you for listening and see you on the next episode of The Workspace.